Hello, welcome back. Today I am going to give you a demonstration of how to mend some tears, and I'm using a t-shirt. I'm using a white thread today, and I have a purple one and another white one. But whatever color fabric that you have for your that you're mending, you want to have the same color thread as well. So, like I said, this is a t-shirt that I'm using as a demonstration. And this is the right side of the t-shirt. But this particular stitch that I'm using to mend this is called a running stitch. Now, with this was at an awkward tear. So what I had did was I had shaped it so that I can be able to meet it together and be able to have some little a little seam. So I like to use straight pins to help guide me through it to help keep it together as I am mending. Okay, and now I'm getting ready to start with my needle and thread, and I've already knotted at the bottom there. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and lock it in. So I'm gonna come down just a little bit from the fabric. I'm gonna come on the other side rather, and it's locked on that side. And I'm gonna come around maybe two times in the same area as the knot, just so that I can be able to keep it in place. So I like to go through the loop there. Okay, and now I'm getting ready to start my stitch. And I'm just going to go in and come back up and pull through. Now, as you can see, I'm not too close up here, but I am down below so that this way the seam doesn't come open. And I'm going to come around, and I came around to be able to have a nice length of a stitch. And now I'm going to come close to it. It's almost like a sewing machine um, stitching. And I'm going to come all the way over into this. So it would look like I am making a wider stitch, but not too wide, but just want to be the same length as the previous one, if I can. And as you're doing the stitch, you don't want to pull it like that, but you want to have it nice and neat so that it won't bunch up. And again, you would use gray or whatever color material that you have for your thread. Okay. And I'm going to keep doing this, and then I'll meet you at the end there. And now I'm going to go ahead and lock in my thread here and put it in the loop. Do this again about 2 or 3 times, coming around. And then I cut my thread here, and I tie it in the knot 2 times at least. Now on to the next one. Now this next one, oh, and I cut my thread here too. Now this next one here, I'm going to stitch it on top. And you can do this. Um, Again, you would be able to want to have an even amount of material. And instead of it, me, being that this is on top, on the right side of my shirt, I'm going to tuck in the material instead of me sewing it up on top. So I'm tucking it in on each side like so, and I am meeting it together, and I'm going to go ahead and pin it so I can keep it in place. Okay. You can see that. You see how I got that? Now, you can use many ways to mend, but you want to be able to do it so that it can look decent at least, Um, Whichever way you use it, you want to be able to um, make it look good. Okay, so I got my thread here, okay, and I'm going to start my stitch from the inside so that my knot won't show, and I'm going to go ahead and took some material, some fabric from this side and this side. So this is almost like the blind stitch in the previous video that I did. So again, I'm working from the inside, and I took a little bit from this side and that side, and I'm coming through. I'm going to cut this off at the end when I'm done. And again, you're not going too deep, but you want to take a couple of threads, like I said, from each side, so it won't show on the opposite side. See there? Okay. Take out these straight pins. I don't need it to hold anymore. And I'm going to continue to do this, and I'll meet you at the end. Oh, this got a knot in it. I got to straighten this one out. This is all the challenges of doing some hand sewing, is when you have a knot. Okay. Great, got it out. Otherwise, you will need to cut it off and start it all over again. This is a great mending for a pillow. Like if you are have a tear in a pillow, or even if you are um, making a pillow and you know how you have that little opening at the top after you put in the fill-in of your pillow, and you have a little bit of that opening there, so you can use this stitching, this hand mending stitch here. But of course, it would be a little bit tighter, wouldn't be as loose as I have it here, but it will be a little bit tighter like it is towards the end. Okay. And then you will lock your thread. And we will loop it. And it's locked. Now my next one is my favorite and my new way of stitching it when it comes to mending is the ladder stitch. Now with this ladder stitch, with this particular one, you want to start at least below, like right in the middle of it, and you want to start from the inside, okay, where the knot is on the inside of it. And you're going to take up a little bit of fabric here. And eventually what's going to happen is that the ladder, the steps, each thread I go is going to be wider and wider to be able to cover this. So when you're doing this, it depends upon the position of where your tear is. You need to hold it at some point, because if you lay it down flat, it's going to pick up the fabric underneath. So you want to be able to lift it up and hold it, or if you have something to put in between, that's great. Okay, so I'm going to go here and come out to the other side. Okay, let me just make sure the stitches, there we go, it's straight. Okay, I'll come out to this side and up here. Okay. And I will continue to do so, going all the way up, and I will meet you up at the top. And now I'm going to go ahead and pull the string. Oh, this is not going to work. Oh, man. Okay, so let me stop this one. Okay, so now we're going to do the third stitch, which is one of my favorite. And is a ladder stitch. It's a new stitch that I like to do too as well. So I'm going to start from underneath here, and I'm going to come here, bring up a little bit of fabric on this side, and then this side. Oh, my thread gets tangled up. It's one of the challenges of hand sewing is that the thread likes to get twisted. Okay. The whole idea is to kind of like leave your thread kind of loose as you go across. So I'm going to go on this side and pick up. And then back over here on this side, pick up a few threads there, the fabric. With this, you're using your fingers to hold up the fabric, or some people have like a pad they can put underneath. But you want to be careful so you don't poke yourself. You know, when you're using a hand needle, the size of the needle makes a difference. I could have used a thinner size needle so it won't be hard for me to pull through. But when you have jeans, you do need the thicker needle. Something for you to think about. That's why when you buy your needles, they come in a package with different sizes. It helps accommodate with whatever type of material you're using. Almost done. And you want to come right above it as well so that you can have a good closure. Okay, so now I want to go ahead and pull. Oh, look at that. This is my favorite part. And there you have it. Ta-da! Now this part here, I just have to cut the loose thread that's there. But other than that, this is how this goes. And again, if you have the gray shirt, you would use the gray materials and you would poke this in on the inside and you would lock it. Lock your thread there. I hope that you can like, share, and comment. And if there is anything that you would like to see, please let me know. And I hope that you can return.